So the first question that I chose is question 15, which states write the equation of the line shown in the graph below. And this is the answer that I got because you can see that, so this is the point, the y-intercept is at 5 here. And to find the equation, I'm going to use the slope formula so that I can find the slope. And so slope formula is y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. So the 2 points that I'm going to use are these 2 points here. And so this is negative 7, 2. So this is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. This is our slope. So I know this is my y-intercept because this is b equals the y-intercept. And so the second question is, the function h of x shown in the table below is a linear function. Find the slope, y-intercept in formula, and slope-intercept form. So this would represent the y coordinates. And since the y-intercept is when x is 0 and this is 0, that means this is the y-intercept. So b is the y-intercept, so the y-intercept is 6. And to find the slope, I will use the slope formula to find the slope. So I'll get 2 coordinates. So I'll choose 430 and 418, 830. So which is 12 over 4, which is equal to 3, since the slope formula is m equals y1 minus y2. So this represents x1, y1, x2, y2. So this is the slope. And to find a formula, so now that I know my slope and my y-intercept, I know that y equals 3x plus 6. So this is my, actually to put this in function form, that would be x actually, it would equal 3x plus 6. This is the slope, y-intercept, and function. So for question 6, it says determine whether the 2 lines below are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So for 2 lines to be parallel, they have to have the same slope, and for 2 lines to be perpendicular, they have to have a negative reciprocal slope. So I'm going to solve for both. So it'll be 5x plus y equals 15, and then I'm also going to solve 3x minus 15y equals negative 6. So I'm going to do minus 5x, y equals plus 15. So this is the slope here. And this is the slope. So these are the slopes of both of the lines, and as you can see, this is negative 5 and this is positive 1/5, which are reciprocal to each other, negative reciprocals to each other. So that means that this would be perpendicular. And the next question I chose is question 7, which is find an equation for the line that passes through the point 3, negative 2, and is parallel to the line x plus y equals negative 7. So I'm going to solve for y. And so the slope equals negative 1. And so since I'm trying to find a parallel line, I know that I have to next use the point slope equation, which is so actually this is a y1. So it's y minus y2 equals m times x minus x1. And since I know my coordinates here, x and y, I go ahead and plug that in. So it would be so I'm going to distribute that. Actually, since I already know that it's going to be negative 1, right? Negative 1x plus 3 minus 2. So this would be my final answer for that. So given a linear equation for the table of remaining oil reserve R in terms of T, the number of years since now. So looking back at the question, you can see that R equals 2,090 billion barrels, which is stating the current oil reserve. So if it's decreasing by 16 billion barrels each year, that means R equals the starting amount minus, because it's decreasing, 16, and then T would be representing the number of years. And 13 years from now, the total oil reserve will be, so 13 years is our T. And so if you just plug that into the equation, you'll have, which equals to 1,882 billion barrels. If no other oil is deposited into the reserve, the world's oil reserve will be completely depleted approximately blank years from now. So R would be 0, because once it's depleted, that means it's completely gone. So it would need to be 0. So in order for R to be equal to 0, you would go ahead and solve the equation with R equals 0 by looking for the value of T, because you want to know the number of years it'll take for it to be 0. So you'll add 16 T on both sides. You're going to divide both sides by 16. So T equals the final answer. So the next question I chose is question 32. In a discount clothing store, all the sweaters are sold at one fixed price and all the shirts are sold at another fixed price. If Mamadou paid $145 for 5 sweaters and 13 shirts, while Molly paid $211 for 11 sweaters and 7 shirts, find the price of one sweater and the price of one shirt. So W is the price of one sweater, and H is the price of one shirt. So these are our variables here. So the first step is to come up with 2 separate equations for Molly and Mamadou. So the first equation is going to be 5 sweaters plus 13 shirts equals $145. The second equation is going to be 11 sweaters plus 7 shirts equals $211. And this is the conversion here. Because I am multiplying the first term by the reciprocal of the first term of the second equation. And then I'm going to multiply this term by this. Actually, it's supposed to be 55. And then this becomes this. divide both sides by negative 108. So you have h equals 5. And so now that you know what h is, you can go ahead and plug that to the first equation so that you can find w, which is shirts, sweaters, I mean. So notice that the variable h has been replaced with 5. And so that would be 5w plus 65 equals 145. So if you minus 65 up on the sides, you get 5w equals 80. But then if you divide both sides by 5, w equals 16. So the price for one sweater equals 16, and the price of one shirt equals 5. And so a marketing company surveyed 2,500 people. They surveyed 4 times as many females as males. How many males and females did they survey? So X will be males, and since they surveyed 4 times as many females, 4X would be females. So since we know the amount of people they surveyed, we can add males, which is X, and females, which is 4X equals 2,500. And so X plus 5X is just 4X is just 5X equals 2,500. So to find X, I'm going to divide both sides by 5, which is 500. So the value for males is 500, and the value for females is 2,000, because 4 times 500 is 2,000. So the next question that I chose is question 23, which is Terry is skiing down a steep hill. Terry's elevation, which is E of t in feet after t seconds, is given by this equation here, which is E of t equals 2,500 minus 9dt. So the equation tells us that Terry started an elevation of 2,500 feet. And his elevation is decreasing by 90 feet each second. Since the slope is negative, I know that this is a decreasing slope. And then since this is the starting variable, starting value in the function, I know that his elevation is 2,500 feet. And so the next question that I chose is question 31, which states Aaron and Lola went to the farmer's market. Aaron purchased 15 tomatoes and 12 ears of corn, and Lola purchased 4 tomatoes and 8 ears of corn. If Aaron spent $44.28 and Lola spent $19.92, find the cost of 1 tomato and the cost of 1 ear of corn. So the first equation is going to be for Aaron, which is 15 tomatoes plus 12 ears of corn equals $44.28. And equation 2 is 4t plus 8c equals 92. So I'm going to multiply the first term by the reciprocal of the value of the second term. So negative 4 and then I'm going to multiply the second term here, the first term for the second equation, by the first term for the first equation. And then I'm going to add, and then I'm going to get 0t plus 72 corn equals $121.68. Okay, so I'm going to solve this. Solve for c and get $1.69. So now that I know what c is, I'm going to plug that into the first equation so I can find the value of t. So the cost of one tomato is $1.06, and the cost of one corn is $1.69.